You're listening to The Real Fan Review with Hav, Sanj, Al, and B.
What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. And today with me, we got my boy Sanj.
Good evening, everybody. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
We got my brother B.
Domo arigato.
Mr. Roboto.
We got our man in the chair, Al, also with us.
How's it going, everybody?
Yes, and we got the four back, the Fantastic Four. Today, guys, we're talking about the movie news of the week, such as things with Indiana Jones, Henry Cavill coming back, Superman talks. We're also talking about the movies coming back in July, which is a month away.
Woo! That's crazy. A month away.
Yeah.
We also we're going to talk about some of the movies we saw this week, and last but not least, we're going to tell you guys about some old school movies that we grew up on that we want you and need you to see. So we'll get to the news first, and we'll start with the big one there. Henry Cavill in talks to be in another Superman kind of movie, but not a Superman movie, which we'll talk about a little bit more deeper than that. What they're saying right now is that Superman's in talks to be a feature, almost like Incredible Hulk, that he's going to be featured in somebody else's movie.
You know what's crazy is that you've stopped referring to him as Henry Cavill and just started referring to him as Superman.
That's who he is.
Superman. Like
That's Superman.
that damn chest.
You're like, damn, Superman was so good in The Witcher.
So right now he's going to be like playing, like I said, an Incredible Hulk kind of role in either Aquaman 2 or Shazam 2. So it should be, I probably think it's Shazam, if anything, to be honest with you guys. But we'll talk more in depth with that. But they're saying that he's only coming back for a small role. I think there's a little wiggle room there. I don't think someone of his acting capabilities, and he's kind of like getting big now, Henry Cavill. So I don't know if it's just going to be for just these little minor roles. I think there's something in the background going on, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Waiting for it.
Superman is one of your top heroes. What's your thoughts on Henry Cavill playing this role of just showing up in one of these little movies?
I love it that he's coming back. I love it that they're doing the Zack Snyder cut. When I saw that release come out, I was excited. Not so much because I hated Justice League that much, but it wasn't the vision that they put out there. So I really wanted to see that vision, even if we get it through an HBO Max exclusive and so forth.
Right.
I'm even willing to accept those, 4 clips that they're saying, like 4 half-hour clips or whatever, or 6 half-hour clips. I'll take it however I can get it. But I agree with you. Him, an actor, not only an actor of his caliber, but a character with the history and depth of Superman, and you're going to say he's now just a cameo role like Hulk? Come on. Hulk had no plot line. They destroyed Hulk's plot lines. Yeah. Superman has still a number of plot lines you can do, and you have a major actor, up-and-coming actor like Henry Cavill playing him. I think this is a negotiation tactic. They probably said, you know what? Let's see how it plays out with the Snyder Cut. Let's see how your cameo does in this movie. And then we can negotiate it from there. But I think they got a Man of Steel 2 slated. It's the payroll that they're probably negotiating, and it'll probably be dependent on how people turn out for these next movies.
Absolutely, man. And Sanj, man, your thoughts, man? You think it's something like Al said, it's just contract negotiations? No way they're going to get Henry Cavill back just to be like a minor role.
Yeah, because I mean, he's getting to the point where you got to pay him too much to do stuff like that. And if you're gonna have him, you got to be setting something up, you know. And they want to make money on him. They got to find a way to have more scenes where he got that shirt off, because then you bring in the ladies and a lot of the fellas too. So,
He actually sent a picture this week of him back in the gym. So I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Here we Superman go. Shape. Superman shape. That's what it is.
And I think the caption was, "I missed you, old friend." I'm like, Jesus.
He never left. What do you mean? He ain't never left.
So crazy, man. And Brandon, I know you were saying that you would want to see Brainiac in a Spider-Man in a Superman Man of Steel 2 there, but they're telling you right now it's possibly just in Aquaman 2 or in Shazam.
Shazam. I mean, I completely see him being in Shazam too. I mean, it just kind of makes a little bit more sense than Aquaman. Just for the whole Superman being weak against magic kind of a thing, and Shazam's powers being more magic based, even if he isn't going against Black Adam. That's kind of one of the matchups there too. I think the whole thing is really a tease. I just think that, remember, the whole Superman thing was, being gone was the plan a long time ago, and moving on to Supergirl. So I think like DC right now is in not a desperate state, but in a holy shit, we need to do something state, because people are excited
Yeah,
about the Snyder Cut. That let's put him in a movie to get people hyped about him again, and then give him his own.
right. I hear
So
you.
I think because they kind of had those slated. People loved Aquaman. It was huge in money wise. People really enjoyed Shazam. So I think it's just their way of trying to get those big names, those big guys back in the movies and back in the audience view, and be like, don't worry, they got a movie coming up. So I think that's
Yeah.
where we're heading.
I forgot who it was. I think it was Signs that was just like, how you gonna put Harley Quinn and all these people out, but you ain't got no Batman movie coming out and no Superman movie coming out.
Exactly. I mean, and there's no continuity either.
Yeah,
With all they have good elements out there. Like Harley Quinn is a good element, that
yeah,
that could easily be incorporated into some good stories, and they're not using it at all,
yeah,
in any productive way.
And
absolutely.
I'm thinking there's going to be some kind of shakeup that happens if the Snyder Cut gets what it's anticipated to get in terms of audience reaction. I
Hmm.
think I think DC is possibly even preparing themselves for that kind of shakeup. Because like you said, there's really no continuity right now, because essentially if they make the Snyder Cut something bigger than what it's intended to be, then Aquaman's plot kind of loses something because of Steppenwolf. He went to Atlantis, and they mentioned in Aquaman that thank you for helping us during the whole Steppenwolf thing. So now, if it's Darkseid who comes and not Steppenwolf, you change that whole thing. So even if those movies play out a different way, that whole Aquaman movie's gone. Like
Right.
half of these movies don't make sense anymore if they go with the Zack Snyder thing. So, like Sanjay says, the continuity is all up in the air. So I think whatever kind of shakeup they do in DC, if this works out the way they wanted to, could be an essentially not a redo to the story, but maybe something to explain like
Yeah.
what's going on with these movies, if there's gonna be some kind of continuity anywhere.
I hear you, man. Listen, I'm looking forward to anything with Henry Cavill back as far as the Superman role. I'll take him in Shazam. I'll take him in Aquaman. I was hoping maybe to see him in the Flash movie too, but we'll see, man.
We'll see
Hopefully
about
we'll get some more news. There was a couple rumors out there that it's possible that J.J. Abrams may be doing something with Henry Cavill Superman. They're doing the Superman 2 there. So we'll see. Any kind of news that comes up about it, we'll definitely talk about it here on the podcast. Going on to the next news there, one of the movies that surprised the four of us and had us rolling, and probably the best movie of the year so far, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Woo!
Sanj, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 just got officially announced. Sanj, are you really looking forward to this? What do you need in this Sonic number 2?
I need more Donut Lord.
Donut Lord. You leave Cyclops out of this.
He's no longer Cyclops. He's Donut Lord.
Yes, a respectable man.
No, but I mean, just keep the story going. Keep it fun. And let's bring Jim Carrey back. Definitely need
Oh,
some more Jim Carrey.
absolutely.
Um, and if they could come up with another dance number for him, that would be awesome as well.
Uh, I hear you, man. And Al, man, and you also enjoyed this movie. I mean, tell me,
Yeah.
man, you looking forward to Tales?
Oh yeah. It's for a movie that I wasn't expecting to enjoy, it surprised me, and if you now bring Jim Carrey back in a fat suit and the wig and everything, like to have
And the
that, because I
mustache.
heard he's coming. Yeah, I heard he's coming back with the true look. It'll just be hilarious. I mean, it's going to be crazy and out there, but it'll be definitely worth going again to see, and definitely something to bring me back to the theater, because that's going to be something you have to experience in a theater.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
And please
Red-
bring back Tika Sumter.
Oh yes, she killed it. Nominee for She Bad. Brandon, man, are you looking forward to a Sonic 2, brother?
Listen, give me my tails and my knuckles, and I'm happy.
Okay.
Tails and knuckles are all I need.
Absolutely, man. Listen, that movie, if you guys haven't seen Sonic the Hedgehog, you need to go see that movie. Jim Carrey, am I wrong in saying this, fella? Jim Carrey stole that movie?
Yes. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Yes.
need Jim Carrey in Sonic 2 also, man. That's gonna be awesome. I'll be there opening night for some Sonic 2. Oh man. The next thing that I saw out there on the news this week that was pretty big was James Mangold, the writer, director of Logan and one of Sanjay's favorite movies of last year, which was 4v Ferrari. He's going to be taking over for Indiana Jones. No more Steven Spielberg, and I'm kind of shocked by that. But after seeing Indiana Jones and the Crystals of the Skulls, which we won't talk about, no. um, Brandon, man, James Mangold, what are you thinking?
I mean, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like it's a series now that you're expecting a good time with, and he's showed me. I mean, he's given me two movies that I really respect and I really enjoyed. I mean, especially 4v Ferrari. That was incredible. It was a great movie, and if he tells a story in an adventurous sense with Indiana Jones, I think he'll kill it. I think it'll be great.
All right, man. Sarge, man, as a fan of 4v Ferrari and Logan, high hopes for Indiana Jones.
No, because of what they've done.
No.
No.
Good night.
I'll put it to you like this: since we're on the tail end of the Last Dance, the Bulls documentary,
Uh-huh.
did any of us have high hopes for the Wizards when Michael Jordan went to the Wizards? No.
No.
It was nice to see Michael Jordan back playing basketball, though.
Point, Sanj.
There you go. I'm keeping an open mind to be pleasantly surprised. How about that?
That sounds good, man. I'm a big fan of Indiana Jones. One of my favorite movies is Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade is one of my favorites of all time. But, after Crystal of the Skull, I am a little hesitant also. But with James Mangold back in it, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he could do with it. Now, my one issue, Al, is how old is
That's what I was going to say.
Is
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford gonna be, kid?
He's like 80 something years old, no, or he's up there. But
Is it going to be Raiders of the Nursing Home?
and that was going to be like, even if you like, I don't know if they're taking the Crystal Skull or whatever that movie was out of the timeline,
Right.
because that set up what's his name,
Shia
Shia LaBeouf as the next Indy. So do you not? Is he taking back the baton and saying, "Okay,
He
kids,
is.
I got this"?
Shia LaBeouf. He's like, get that baton back, get the whip, get the whip and the hat back.
Like, I mean, I give it. He's great. He's a great actor, and from the movies I'm seeing that this guy has done, they got a great director.
Right.
So I have a lot of expectations for the movie.
Mhm.
I'm just hoping that their ability to carry out what an Indiana Jones movie is supposed to be,
Right.
given the nature of their actor. So
Can't
I'm
wait
hoping
no
he's
more.
got it in him. Yeah.
See, Indiana Jones is one of those things where I don't want to see it be remade. I don't want to see it continue. Like, they told a great story, and so much of
Yeah.
it was Harrison Ford and the supporting cast that they put around him, and it was just great that way. And it's like one of those things, like V for Vendetta was a great movie. It doesn't need any more to it. It was perfect in its way. So I really don't want to see any more Indiana Jones. I don't want to see it be rebooted, which we look,
Yeah.
with the Harrison Ford getting older, they're probably going to try to do that at some point, right? Um,
Uh-huh.
but I'd rather see them do more with Tomb Raider if they're going to use archaeology
Right.
as a theme. Like let's go with that. Let's get
Hmm.
let's take the talent and further that um, franchise and give us something new there. Because
Absolutely.
it just seems like it had this just the concept of Tomb Raider just seems more contemporary anyway.
Right. Yeah, because I feel like if they do more Indiana Jones movies, it's gonna still be in that time period, that time era, where it's what like it was like a 50s and 60s kind of feel, right?
Yeah,
If I'm
yeah.
correct. And the
Yeah.
only thing I can see them doing is if they do continue the story. Actually, the one person I could see actually taking over the role besides LaBouffe, because I don't want that. I just want to forget Crystal Skull. Okay, is I can actually see Chris Pratt taking on the role, but we'll see,
Yeah,
man.
he has the personality for it. Yeah, I can
He
see him
Yeah,
does.
being that wise ass. Yeah.
I think he's a little too goofy.
What
yeah.
about Chris Pine?
Mm.
Kirk? Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Uh,
Sanj sniffles. He's like,
Mm.
that's not Kirk. Oh man. And then in the last bit of news there, man, is our last bit of somewhat normalcy coming back to our lives, man. These movie theaters are trying to open up for July again. So it's more official now. The Regal, Cinemark, all these theaters chains are saying that they're looking forward to July because July is when Tenet's supposed to be coming out, a couple other movies. And, July 1st is pretty much literally a month away from us right now. So I'm just wondering, guys, you guys ready to go back to the theaters or what?
I don't know. Um, I know previously I said like if if they started opening back up in July by what we were seeing back then, maybe
Yeah,
like a month ago we spoke about this,
yeah.
then that should be fine. But given how unpredictable things have been, and now like China's seeing a second wave because they reopened and they had really good lockdown um,
And everything, right?
enforcement as
Hmm.
well, and they're seeing a resurgence in the second wave. So here we're starting to see states open up. We're starting, and here in New York, we're looking at a soft open this week, and then they're going to look at phase 2 on the 15th, phase 3 on the 22nd. I'll I haven't I haven't adjusted my thinking for anything outside of the next 2 weeks. I'm taking it two
Yeah.
weeks at a
yeah.
time. So, you know, 4 weeks from now might as well be 4 millennia from now.
That's
As
what it
far as
feels like lately.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll see how I feel in 2 weeks. If we start seeing an uptick, if cases start going back up right when we open, well then that means that's no good.
Right.
And we really might have to do this until there's a vaccine. So I've got to see, and see how things go with the staged openings, for
Absolutely.
different levels of the economy opening up.
Absolutely, man. And Brandon, man, listen, I mean, for us, like Sean says, we're in New York. So for us, movie theaters is part of phase 4. So we wouldn't get that till July anyway. So it's
Yeah.
like it's a long ways before we get to that point. And they have to see certain things met, certain criteria to make those phases to get to the next one, of course.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Brandon, knowing that we're in phase 4 for movies, we get to Tenet. Tenet should be around phase 4, Brandon.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting because like I thought about this the other day.
Yeah.
We've all been in our homes. We've all been kind of stuck here. We've been trying to find ways to
Going nuts.
to not go nuts, to keep our families
Entertained, happy.
entertained and happy, as another one, happy. So like you hear this idea of something opening that you're entertained by, that would make you happy, but at the same time you have to have that level of caution. At this moment in time, you live with our parents and I live further from you guys. And it's at this time where like I still can't see them in a sense. I can be close to them, but my parents separate by a screen, or we're separated by more than 6 feet because they're a lot older. And no, I
Right,
wouldn't want
right.
something to happen to them. So I don't want to jeopardize my ability to lose time with my parents even more than I already have. So for me to go to the movies, get COVID, that's another 2 to 3 weeks that I have to now wait even more to now be completely away from my parents. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
for me, it's do I have that one night where you're not guaranteed that something could happen or something won't happen, and risk that versus my chance to spend time with people.
I hear you, man.
You know,
Makes
so
sense, man.
I don't know. It's a weird thing. You know, I lean more towards no, but you know,
I hear you, man. And listen, and that's going to be a personal choice for every person out there. Your safety comes first, and how you personally feel about the situation of going to the movies, that comes first also. Your peace of mind is very important.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I know
You
for
know what?
me, go
Sorry.
for it, Sanj.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. You weren't
Oh,
done.
okay. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, for me personally, I'm gonna need that checkerboard feel for the theaters. I'm gonna need I need the seat in front of me, the seat behind me, and the seat next to me empty, and then a person. So it's gonna look just like a chessboard for me. So I'm gonna do it that way. Now, Al, I mean, I'm hearing that they're gonna try to do 50% capacity for these theaters. They're also gonna try to do the same thing, like I was saying, like distance between chairs. No one's gonna really be sitting together. What's your thoughts, Al, man? You're willing to try it for Tenet, or what you thinking, man?
See, Tenet looks like such a good movie. I would want to try it, but I got so many people in my life that are sensitive to the situation. You
Absolutely.
know, so like I saw my father my parents, let alone my father, because he's the one with more of the medical concerns.
All right.
I saw him for the first time since all this started. Like I hadn't even seen him for his birthday, for Father's Day. I mean, because I don't know what I have. I don't care about me so much as I don't know what I have, what I'm bringing to those around me. So God forbid something happens and somebody gets it and somehow they trace it back to me, and I'm like, damn, I brought that shit just because I wanted to go see a movie. Like
Yeah.
now,
You
is the
think about it like
likelihood of
that.
that happening? Like some people will say, oh, what's the chances of that happening? It
Yeah,
could be
but it's like you don't want to
1%.
be that
But
one,
if that
you know?
exactly, it could be 1%. But if that 1% comes true, how am I going to feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like so I want to take that chance, but I don't want to take that chance. And that's how scary of a time we live in right now. That something
Absolutely.
as going to the movie theater could be considered a life or death situation for people. And it's sad to say it like that because it sounds crazy saying that, but it really is at this point. Like, because you don't know what you got, you don't know what the person's reaction to it is going to be. I don't know,
Absolutely.
You know what?
but I really want to see that movie. That's
I
why
know,
I will
right?
see it.
He's like, yeah, this, my family, this. And he's
Like,
like,
yo, that movie, son.
but
That
that
movie
movie
is good
though.
as hell.
That movie though.
You know
That
what? You know
trailer
what?
though.
We're talking about things in terms of phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four. Avengers prepared us to live life by phases.
It's Marvel's fault.
It also told us 5 years.
5 years.
Years later. Man, and listen, that's as far as the movie news goes for this week, man. And of course, we'll get you into next week with any movie news. If anyone listening or watching on the YouTube, you have any suggestions for a news that you want to hear us talk about, write it in the comments or send us an email. Let us know. We'll definitely talk about it on next week's episode there. So just give us a little shout there. Now we're going into the movies that we saw this week. You know, every week we try to get a chance to watch something, even regardless of this damn podcast. We'd be doing this. So so we always try to watch a movie or catch a movie and talk about it. So I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch anything. I ended up seeing Ready or Not this week. And
Okay.
I gotta tell you, the movie had me for a second there, and I was like, okay, this is cool, it's interesting. And then it kind of lost me, and then the ending completely lost me. Because I mean, wait, did everyone see Ready or Not? Who hasn't seen it?
No, I haven't seen
I've
it.
seen it.
Oh, you
I
guys
haven't
seen it?
seen it.
Okay. So I won't ruin it for Sanj, but what I say was
What
say
was it?
this.
What was it? What did you see it on Netflix?
It
HBO.
was on Redbox and HBO Max.
Okay.
Yeah, because it comes with HBO, so we have But the ending, I was hoping for something to happen at the end. Well, more saying, I was hoping something didn't happen at the end,
Wait, so what's the
and that
premise of Ready or Not?
Ready or Not is a couple gets married, and
Uh-huh.
they get married into a family that is rich because of games.
Oh, I know. Okay, I know
It's
what
like
you're okay.
figure she married into Hasbro.
Yeah,
It's something along her marrying into Hasbro.
Gotcha.
And one of the
know which
games they at the end of the night of their wedding, they have to play a game with the family, and the game could be deadly or it could be just a regular game. And she happens to choose a deadly game, and the madness ensues. But the reason why the madness ensues is what drives me crazy about this damn movie.
All right, I'm gonna have to catch that because I
Yeah, you
remember
catch.
I
Yeah,
remember seeing the previews for that, and
yeah.
that's one
So
of those things I wanted to see.
me personally, man, I thought it was okay. I'm gonna say it's a rental for me. You know what I mean? Granted, that's what we ended up waiting for. But yeah, I'm not gonna say you should see it or need to see it for me. Al, Brandon, I know you guys love this thing.
I like it. I liked it because of like a lot of the comedy in the show in the movie got me because it's a kind of sense of humor.
Yeah, a
Like
little
when they're
dark comedy.
like I mean you've seen it in the preview, so I'm not giving anything away. They're chasing the bride. So at one point the father says to the son, "What do you think this is a game?" And then the son looks at him and goes, "Yeah, it's hide and seek, remember?" So like sarcasm humor will always get me. So
There
like
you go.
and that was throughout the movie. So like I love that. But I agree with you. I didn't want that ending. Like I
Yeah,
wanted it to leave it without ruining it. I didn't want the ending to be that kind of ending.
I wanted the opposite of what the ending was.
Exactly.
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 Wanted them to be there
You wanted a
oh
beginning?
Like
shoot,
like the way they made the ending look like it was gonna be, like,
yes,
oh shit, okay, I feel stupid. Like that's what I would have
yes.
preferred them leave it be. Like let it
That's
stay there.
exactly it. That's exactly it. We're being
Yeah.
mad around about on this one, Sanj, for you, love.
I got I got you. Got you.
Yeah, man. But
Appreciate
listen, that's the only thing that I got to see this week because I was also busy watching The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Good show.
How is that?
I'm up to episode 5, and what I have to say is it is a really interesting take on superheroes. They are douchebags if they had these powers.
It's
And
kind of like what real people would do if they had these powers. They'd like
exactly.
they'd be in that gray area.
Exactly. So it's really interesting to see. I'm only up to episode 5 of 8 episodes, so I would recommend people to watch it because it is interesting. I've been looking forward to seeing every, one episode a day, so it's been good, man. It's been humorous, funny, interesting, cool, and weird, but but a lot of deep messages also. If you look behind some of the stuff that's going on, there's a let's say like a question on doing the right thing, a question on what is bad, what is good, looking up to an idol, also faith and having like these religions that force you to do certain things so far. So it's a lot of touches on a lot of different topics, and it's really interesting, really cool. Now I kind of really enjoyed it, and so I'm looking forward to episode 6 tonight. So
Once you get that season finale, ooh, so good,
oh,
yeah.
so good.
super. What was it? Highlander. That's my dude. He's a crazy son of a bitch. But
you haven't seen it yet. It gets worse.
oh
wow.
god.
It gets crazier.
Yeah, man. What about you fellas, man? I mean, B, I haven't talked to you in a while, man. What have you called anything?
Something that I really liked the other day, it's on Netflix now, is Adam Sandler's Uncut Gems. Holy cow. That
I think he acted
movie
his ass off on that movie.
is really freaking good.
You know what's crazy, B? My mother-in-law posted on Facebook the other day, and she was like, and she never posts about like movies or anything like that, but she made it a point to say, "Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, complete waste of time."
Oh wow.
So the thing about
It's
this movie
crazy.
it's
She
so
went
interesting.
in on saying how bad of a movie it is.
The movie itself, it's really interesting because I can see where people wouldn't like it. Like it's not a movie you can be on your phone. It's not a movie you can like listen to in the background. It's a movie you have to watch because everything is fast paced. It's told from Adam Sandler's view as a jeweler, and as like Jacob the jeweler kind of a thing, It's even those scenes where he's sitting down, he's communicating with 5 different people at the same time. So you have to really be focused on what's happening in the scene and all this and stuff, because like
It feels like if you have ADD, like you
it's
could easily
exact
watch that movie. But
it's literally, you have to pay attention to it, and it's just it's a crazy story, not to give anything away. It's
Yeah.
about a jeweler who's just really having really shitty luck, in the span
Is
of
he having a bad day?
it's just a bad day. I'm having a bad day. Like it's in the span
July 1st.
so July 1st, first movie out.
Unhinged.
It's like he's having like a really shitty week, and it's all basically his fault. Everything he's done, every decision he's made has been bad. It's led him down this place, and you're looking at like a shitty week, and like you're wondering how this like gets better for this guy. Because as shitty of a person as he is, like his home life is horrible because of him. Like his finance is terrible because of him. His shop is terrible because of him. But like you kind of hope this works out for him, in a sense, because things get really bad, and
Yeah.
like just the whole twists and turns of how things go, and just the ending of the movie itself will be like, yo, really? It's a good one. I
and
suggest you
there's
watch
also
it.
Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett is in it. He's a main part of the movie.
That's awesome. All right, give it a
I
shot.
do recommend, if you have time that you can focus on this movie. It is 2.5 hours, and you have to focus on it for 2.5 hours. It's a great movie to watch.
I liked
All
it
right.
too. When I saw it, I liked it. I mean,
Oh, you saw it,
I'm not,
Sanj?
yeah, I did see it.
All right.
I'm not gonna
That's
nominate.
right. You watch basketball movies.
That's right. Someone was listening. What do you call it? So, it's not. We're not gonna nominate it for any reallys. It's not in that. It's not that type of movie.
It's an
But
intellectual movie. Yeah.
I was entertained.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a waste of time. But I didn't respond to my mother-in-law. I just let her live because you know what? She's posting on Facebook, which is awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was the movie that got her to do it.
I hear you, man. And Sanj, man, did you catch anything this week or a busy week
Yeah,
for you?
I caught a lot of stuff. I caught the beginning credits of about 10 movies.
This'll be the week. This'll be the week.
This will be the week. I mean, the thing.
Ad Astra.
I haven't said it yet.
Let me just put it in perspective. In the last 10 days, today included, I've been at work only 2 of those days, right?
Yeah.
And I am so looking forward to going back to work to get a rest. Because the time off was, I mean, we did spend some time with the family, but we had a lot of stuff around the house to do.
Right.
Then I had stuff going on at the other place as well. And even today I was there over the weekend. Nina and I were there, and there's just so much stuff to do, and we've been having such long days. But yeah, so and then we'll sit down at night like, yeah, let's watch a movie. No, but we are watching. Part of why we're not getting through any movies because we're also watching Ozark, the series.
I heard that's pretty good.
Jason Bateman and Laura Linney. It is incredible. So we are deep into season 2, and enjoying it. So we've been spending a lot of our free moments and our free time on Ozark. But we did get to rewatch Eddie Murphy's Delirious, which is incredible. Like I must have seen this, I would say, at least 100 times already. I could probably recite it and I know every joke, yet I still sit there and die laughing every single time.
All right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man.
His jokes stand up to the test of time. His mannerisms, everything. And I mean, some of it probably wouldn't get said. Just I would say maybe 10% of it he probably couldn't say now. But for most of it is still very still very relevant and stuff like that. And it's just hilarious. And then when you watch him, you realize that Will Smith, for the beginning part of his career, was just basically doing Eddie Murphy.
Interesting.
But whatever. But yeah,
I hear you.
Get to see Delirious.
All right, and Al, man, how about yourself, man? You get to catch anything?
I I didn't get to catch much. We've been watching like a lot of the shows. Kind
Yeah.
of like we've been catching up on Lucifer. I don't know how we got I got caught on that show, but I've
That
been
British
watching.
accent. That British accent just reels people in, man.
No, you know what it is? It has an interesting take on the devil. So, because obviously, as you can tell from the name, in Lucifer, it's about the devil. But if you watch it, it's a funny take on it. So I just like that little twist on the devil
And he's not
because
exactly
like
bad.
And it's
he's
based off
exactly
of the
he's not
Not
comic
exactly
exactly bad.
counterpart.
yeah. And the funny thing is, he gets pissed because like he's portrayed as this evil person. Meanwhile, he keeps telling people, he goes, "I'm not the evil one." He goes, "I punish the evil people." He goes, "Don't put on me what you choose to do, and I punish you for it." So like that take on the
You're
devil
like,
makes
yeah.
it's like I just punish the people that do bad. They do bad on themselves. Don't blame me for it. But no, but one movie I did get to see was it was on my Netflix queue for the longest time.
Right.
So
right.
I figured let me just throw it on so I could take it off. And it was a movie called Mute. I don't know if any of you have seen it on Mute on Netflix. And the only reason I really wanted to watch it was because it had Paul Rudd. He was the only person in there other than
Mhm.
Justin Theroux that I knew. And the main character was played by Alexander Skarsgård.
Right.
It's about a guy who can't speak because there was an accident when he was younger that where his throat got cut, and now they could bring back his voice, but it required surgery, and he's an Amish character, so they were against the operation. So he ends up living his life unable to speak, and the whole movie plays out that he can't speak. It reaches a level. The action always reaches just a level that you're waiting for it to really hit and become action filled. And to me, in my opinion, it never gets there. I
Right.
kept watching it and watching it, waiting for okay, that third
Waiting
act's
for
going to
something to
come, all the action's going to start, and it comes, but then they go away from it.
Mhm.
Like for example, there's this real big bodyguard for the main villain that okay, that's going to be the main fight at the end of the movie. And they show the two of them look at each other and start to approach each other for the fight. And then they cut to another scene. And then when they come back, the fight is over and the good guy won. But you're like, what? Where's the fight?
How?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a movie where there was a continued build up and then they let you down. Continue build up, let you down. But Paul Rudd,
They were edging.
Yeah, he did good. Justin Theroux did well for his character. There was some meat there, but they never really finished off the.
Yeah, there was.
But you know who made a surprise cameo? Who plays what's his name? Dominic Monaghan. I don't know if you guys
Not
watch
so familiar.
the guy from Lost, and he was in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah.
He plays it. He's in the movie, but he's so done up in costume. I didn't even recognize that it was him.
Gotcha.
But he's in the movie too. So,
all right.
and it's 2 hours long when they could have cut it down to an hour and 25. I mean, there was so much extra dialogue in that movie that
Wasn't
could have
necessary.
been cut out. Yeah.
Ironic.
Yeah. Or a movie called Mute, right? Yeah.
And too much dialogue.
Crazy, man. Very interesting, man. Yeah, man. Well, that's listen. That's the movies that we saw this week and some of the shows that we saw
Al,
this week.
Can you please post the review for Mute on our website? Just one time. My review of Mute is that there's too much dialogue.
Amazing. Oh man. And then our last segment for the show this week is something we always try to do. We try to give you guys a little feel for us, our thoughts, our opinions, and just to give you some of the stuff that we like as far as movies go, and with our own sense of humor, of course, as always. So in this part, we're going to talk about something that happened to me last week. I was talking with a bunch of my coworkers, and they were asking me for movies, like movies that I've seen that I like. And they were asking for like specific like movies that I grew up with that made me love movies, right? So I was thinking back and I was just like, wow, I could think of a couple good ones. But then I went home and looked up some more, and I was just like, "Oh, these are classics. I got to talk about." And I said to myself, these movies are movies that I watched in the '80s, growing up. And I'm wondering if a lot of people who do listen to our podcast, if they're on the younger age side, or maybe some people who haven't seen certain movies, I wanted to give a chance for us to show some movies or to tell some movies that maybe you guys should look at or listen to. So I'll start it off with one of the movies that I always think about and I always remember, and it makes me think of it actually makes me think of my middle brother Eric, and that is The Last Dragon with Bruce Leroy. You are the last dragon.
I think now that you do that, I think I recall Eric doing that often as a
Often,
child.
yeah. He thought he had the glow, bro.
He had something.
Listen, man, that movie's still crazy to me. It's a little unrealistic. It's a karate movie. But you know what? There was something about the movie that just always stood out to me. And it's just a
Is that the one with
feel-good
the
movie.
character, Sweet Brother Newsy?
I don't remember. I just remember Show Enough.
Show enough.
No,
For
no.
some reason, every time Busta Rhymes would rap, that's who was in my head. Show enough.
He actually dressed up as Show Enough in one of his videos.
Yeah.
But the feel good story, the jokes, the innocence in the main character Bruce Leroy, trying to impress his brother and I think it was his father that he was trying to impress as well, because he had left. And I think the story was that he ran away to avoid conflict, and he learned karate and came back. And it's just overall just a good story. It's a good karate film. It features an African American being this karate master. It's just something just awesome. And it was a really good movie. And I remember watching this with my little brother at the time, and just we watched this so many effing times. There was scenes like I remember there's a breakdancing scene where this guy's trying to get out of a rope, So it's like just so many memories of the movie that I'll never forget. And when I mentioned it to my coworkers, they're like, "What the hell movie are you talking about?" I'm like, "You've never heard of Bruce Leroy." So that's definitely a classic for me. Again, it may not be the greatest story ever. It may not be the best movie you've ever seen in your life, but it's entertaining, it's fun, it's old school. It's something that I hope they never remake, and it's something you guys should watch. Sanj, is there a movie that you grew up on that you always think about that maybe other people haven't seen? Or
Well, the movies that I can think about, I really think they've seen them. Like, I think about Scarface all the time. I mean, some of the stuff he says, and and everything that goes on, and then the music is epic. It's just everything just sounds so epic, during the movie. And then another movie that I really enjoyed was Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman, okay.
Julia Roberts and oh my God, now I'm blanking on his name. The guy who was always in
Richard Gere.
Richard Gere, yes.
Yeah.
Because he was in Gentleman and a Scholar as well.
Any particular reason why Pretty Woman stands out for you? Like anything in particular about the movie?
I don't know. I can't really just. It's just to me it just seemed like a really sweet story. I know it sounds corny to say.
No.
And then it had some good 80s music as well.
Right.
In addition to classic rock with Roy Orbison. I love Roy Orbison, by the way.
Uh-huh.
But it just seems like a really nice story and very entertaining. But it may be a movie that people haven't seen is Delta Force with Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Delta Force. All right.
Wow. Which is basically just an advertisement for joining the military. They're like, if you join the military, you can be Chuck Norris too. Which is clearly not the case. You can save the planet all by yourself. Join the military. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I love Delta Force. And again, it had like the corniest like 80s music, but it was awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, Al, man, how about you, man? Any movie stands out for you that you remember watching as you were younger that you still to this day think about, and you're like, it may not be the greatest movie, but damn it, I love that movie.
Um, well, there's two. There's it gets I mean, Halloween, the original Halloween,
Oh
because
wow.
I remember being 6 years. I mean, I may be dating myself with this, but I remember being my daughter's age, watching that movie
Wow.
and thinking I shouldn't be watching this movie, and for some reason, it's not scaring me like my parents said it was going to be. And
Right.
ever since then, loving horror movies. So that
Yeah.
movie just set it off for me. Put me into watching horror movies. From that point, I watched every horror movie that I could
Mhm.
see, and didn't get scared. Whereas before, I would leave the room if like Exorcist. I remember when my parents put on Exorcist, I ran out the room.
Yeah,
To this
man.
Amen.
day, I hear that movie and I'm like, I've never seen The Exorcist from beginning to end.
No.
I've
Neither.
seen pieces here
No,
and
I
there,
don't
but
think
I don't think I've seen the whole movie from beginning to end.
I've never seen the whole movie. I don't remember the movie. It's something that we got to
Yeah,
do, man.
yeah.
We'll do a
But the
watch
one
party
movie
one
that
day.
Yeah, but the movie that came to mind when you brought up this category, and it surprised me that it was the one that came to my mind was Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh yes,
And
That's
and the reason why that
yes,
movie
yes.
always stands out in my mind is because it was the first movie that I can recall. Now, I'm not saying it was the first movie to do this. It's the
uh
first movie I recall where the actor looked at the camera and spoke to you,
Yeah.
like broke that fourth wall. Like, so I remember thinking that when I watched that movie, I think I was like 10, 12 years old. I remember like, what the hell is he doing? Like, he's
You're like, did he
why
just
is he
fuck up and
talking?
they kept
Yeah,
it?
he said, does he know I'm watching him?
This is
And
live.
then and it was also one of the first movies that I remember with an end credit scene where he comes after the credits. He goes, "Yo, what are you still doing here? The movie's over." So it's like that. Yeah. Every time I think of a movie, like when I was growing up, I just remember. I don't even remember. Like I said, I don't remember details of the movie's plot.
Uh-huh.
I just remember him talking to the camera and then coming to the camera afterwards, talking about, "Hey, what's up? Why are you still here?"
That's great, man. And B, man, I mean, you're, a little younger than us here, 10 years almost. And different generation of movies that you grew up with. Is there anything that's like an old school for you that you remember and you always say, yeah, y'all need to see this?
um, I don't know, like, so it was weird because growing up, like, you have all these commercial movies, like, from Jurassic Park to Toy Story to
Uh,
Harry Potter. So, like, I grew up with Harry Potter, but I think, like, these small little movies that weren't so big, like Little Rascals, like Alfalfa, like that shit was hilarious. I used to love the Little Rascals. Another one that's like so obtuse and it was really ridiculous of a movie, but like I was like 5 and it was cool at the time was like Three Ninjas. And it
Oh
was
my God, I just remembered that.
three ninjas, the three brothers who fought in the amusement park. Like it was the corniest shit ever, but I was like, Three Ninjas.
Crazy, man. Oh man. Well, listen, I'll give you another one for myself that I always think about when I think of movies, and it also makes me think of like friendships and things like that. And that's Stand By Me.
Mm.
Stand By Me. I can recite certain things on that, like this. You know, I still do it to this day. My kids lose it when I do it, and that's where I got it from. They were singing "Lollipop" as they were walking down the train tracks, and it's a crazy, interesting story because it deals with, these friends getting to know each other. They go through a situation together. They're trying to get away, and it's I don't know. It's just so interesting. The conversations that they have is like conversations that we had when we were younger, just trying to figure out life while experiencing some horrendous stuff that they saw. They found a dead body and they're trying to like figure out what to do. They're also being chased by a bully, and it's just something about that movie, The Leeches. in the pond when they were walking through it. It's just a bunch of different things that happen. It's such a good story. Not anything action adventure or anything like that. It was just a good story. And when I was younger, things like that didn't really keep my attention, but for some reason that movie did. And I always remember that movie. Stand By Me is a great movie. I think anyone should watch it. I believe Young River Phoenix is in that movie.
Yes, he
You
is.
know, I'm not sure who I really can't remember the other characters, but I'm sure there's other good characters that are in that movie. But Stand By Me was a great movie. It's a good story to watch, and I think something that you guys should check out definitely if you haven't never seen Stand By Me. Do you any of you fellas have anything else? Any other movies that you guys think of that stand out for you guys?
Oh,
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind
Really, with Jim Carrey?
with Jim Carrey.
I thought that movie was freaking weird at first.
I
never even
watched
heard
that
of it.
Said
movie
about
all
Jim
the time.
Carrey in general. I thought that guy was freaking weird at first.
I don't know what it is about that movie. It's just the story. I think that was like at a time where I really started to see more intelligent based movies where you
Right.
really have to think, where you're in thought. I think I saw it. I think it came out early 2000s when I was still like a preteen, and I was watching all these cartoon movies and Toy Story and Harry Potter and all those things. And I just remember catching that movie and I was like, huh, I had to think. And there was a lot of thinking involved with that movie. You have to really kind of be within the story to understand the messages in there and kind of the overall plot because you're dealing with the whole memory loss thing. And then you start to see like bands, like one of my favorite bands is called Circa Survive, and their whole first album is based on the movie, of that movie. And so you
Wow.
start to do like the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon thing with what's the
This
Wizard
was
of
Wizard
Oz.
of Oz.
So then you
Yeah.
start putting on the album to the movie and seeing where things line up, and you start to go a little crazy with it. So it's one of those first like intellectual movies for me, and I
Nice.
always remember that.
That's awesome,
Uh,
man. I mean, I'll give you
yeah,
guys another one that I used to
yeah.
like also, man, was Goonies.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say that one. When you
Shuffle,
said about
shuffle.
friendship, that's the one I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, do the Chuck Shuffle. Yeah, man. Goonies is something
Oh,
I always remember, man. It's just an awesome adventure movie with kids acting
oh
up. I mean, if you still see these actors now, people keep asking them if they're gonna do a Goonies 2, and it's been like 30 years.
that's great.
Maybe even more than 30 years. So it's just something that's Goonies, another one.
Lost.
Another one that you Lost Boys, yeah, definitely, man. One of the great classic vampire movies. I was gonna say Coming to America, great comedy. Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy.
Well, at first you said a movie that people may have not have necessarily seen. Everybody has seen,
Yeah.
Coming to America.
Okay. Listen. I think sometimes our listeners are skew in the age of like teenagers and 20s. So if you're in that range, make sure you see Coming to America. All right. Charlie Murphy. The first ever mic drop.
Oh man.
Sexual chocolate. Sexual chocolate.
That boy good. That boy good.
Good. Terrible.
Oh man.
Oh
Also,
man.
man, you know what?
There's so much. There's so much from that movie.
There's so much, man. Another one that also reminds me of my brother Eric, man. This guy used to love certain movies and he would repeat certain lines. And I think it was for him, seeing movies over and over was really good. And he liked to do that a lot. So I got to get my brain warped by all these movies. Was Short Circuit. Johnny Number 5 is alive.
Oh wow.
A robot come to life being struck by lightning. Flash. Yeah, man. So listen, I mean, these are different movies that you guys, again, they're old school movies. It may not be the best looking on your TVs, on your 4Ks out there, but at the same time, fantastic stories, great fun. It's just
Man.
amazing, man.
If you want to see, when you said that Flash, it reminded me. If you want to see an old school movie that it's not going to be great, like you said, but if you want to relive that time, Flash Gordon.
Flash.
Oh!
Da-da-da.
Kid, watch that movie. The graphics are horrible. The acting is horrible. But
Oh.
every time I watched it, I could watch it from beginning to end. Like,
Anytime it's on,
His
right?
entire
oh,
space
kid.
opera. So
One movie for me that I really loved and still do is Cocktail with Tom Cruise, Elizabeth Shue, Gina Gershon as well was in that movie. That was just such a great movie, and it had such a great soundtrack too.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, and the storyline where they both have these big dreams of becoming like huge in the bar world and whatnot. And then they start doing their thing and like all the tricks that they do behind the bar and everything. And I don't know, it's just great. Again, cute story.
These are classics, man. These are classics for us. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. And you know what? I'm gonna give you guys one last one, and we'll end the podcast on this one, man. And I think the fellas will agree on this one. It's again, nothing crazy happens. Just a bunch of friendships that are made, and the conversations that are had, and the experiences of youth in high school. And that's going to be The Breakfast Club. Don't you look? We didn't even plan that. We didn't even plan that. Don't you? The song in that movie? They can never be separated, man. You know what I mean? It's just a classic tale, man. Classic. I don't even know what the hell happens in the movie besides them being in detention together, bro.
I know how the movie ends. That's it.
Yeah. Amazing, man. We thank you guys for listening to the podcast as always and watching us on YouTube and subscribing on your favorite podcast apps. If you guys ever have a suggestion for a topic for us that you want to hear us talk about, you can reach us at our email, therealfanreview@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, therealfanreview.com, and leave us a note or a comment there. If you're watching the YouTube, you leave a comment right there below you. Let us know if there's something you want us to talk about, or just tell us what you think about the topics we discussed today, and leave us, a quick little comment there, and we'll definitely reach out to you back. So we're coming out of New York, man, and we want to thank you guys for listening, as always. You got myself, Hav. We got my brother, B. We got my boy, Sanj.
Good night, everybody, and stay safe.
And we got my man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe. And, a lot of craziness going on in this world right now. Just being open and ear. Sometimes just listening to somebody else's, thoughts and how they feel makes the world, man. So we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night.